Okay. Um, you know, it's obvious that they're trying to make me subscribe to this nasty pedophilia things, and they've been trying to. You have these people who are trying to keep you try to get you to accept these things. I made it the last video. You saw the little girl. They were trying to create the stimulations and force me to get stimulation. Then try to make me think that this is me when I was a kid. Now I understand that's what they do. They do the pedophilia type of torture. And for me, they try to make me accept this pedophilia type of tormenting as if it's me. But these people are renowned to do pedophilia type of torture. So you have this trash who sound like children. It's like kids who obviously know they're involved in something nasty and pedophilia centric, but they're trying to live their fantasy. These people have been doing pedophilia type of torture. It's easy to see that. It's obvious. I'm not the first, I'm not the last one to say that. They know that. They were doing like all kind of noise campaign every time they were making me think. And mind you, I'm in bed. My thoughts completely manipulated the way they wanted. Completely. Creating dialogues and whatnot. And it's obvious that not only they do the pedophilia type of torture, but they've been exposed for the entities that contract these slow lives. That they actually work for pedophiles. Not in the sense that, well, they work for entities with issue with pedophilia, right? And then they try to tell themselves, oh, well, you are a pedophile. And every time I'm forced to experience this pedophilia type of torture, then just try to use that moment like, you see, you're a pedophile. Because they forced me to experience that. So they created a reality, like they say. And in the reality they created, regardless of what's been manipulating my brain to experience this way, they try to tell themselves, oh, you're our pedophiles. When in reality, they've been exposed for the fact that the entities contracting these people are filled with pedophiles. That's why there's so many pedophiles in these agencies. And it's not here and there. It's just a lot of pedophilia issues going on there. And these people have to be up at 4 in the morning, try to get you to condition you and manipulate you in that way. Their job is to break you down into accepting this pedophilia type of torture while working for pedophiles, while working for programs that torture children in a sexual matter and call this being winners and then die. They live off a dialogue. They live off a reality that is created on their own. It's so sad. And the reality, the sad part of this reality, the truth about the reality they're in, is they're projecting. They're projecting what they're part of. You are a pedophile. Now you actually work for entities filled with pedophiles. And you do the pedophilia type of torture. So actually it kind of makes you the pedophile. Because you force individuals to experience these nasty things. And then yell and do the noise campaign that you do always. Try to box in their thoughts. There was like fireworks, right? Try to every time they create this bizarre thought. Obviously, sound like somebody who's just saying there's the people around you try to get you to change you to be somebody else. And every time they try to box in their thoughts, they yell, they rape you. With the to try to box in this thought. You see, understand when you compromise to that level, when you know that at this point you sold your soul to pedophiles. Life is just you have to fight to block this reality you created. They're creating this dialogue, man. I'm in bed. That's when they start creating these dialogues. And it feels like me, right? They create these dialogues, which is them trying to create a dialogue that's going to make you, then they're going to try to kind of stress you about it. They've been doing this thing, right? In the last video, I showed this little girl, and it was like making me think this is how you think when you're a kid, whatever. And this is now as my brain has gone more and more and more manipulated, my logic is seeing this different fraction of reality to the point where with time I will never be aligned with what's going on in my brain more than before. And so they're trying to have this dialogue. It's like, oh wow, so they did that toward this white little girl, but imagine if it was, because I'm on Instagram, I'm seeing friends of my old friends, I'm scared to look at the stories. Because some of my friends have babies, have little kids, little girls, little 1, 2, 3-year-old kid babies. They're gonna do this pedophile type of torture, especially because black little girls, right? And they're trying to create these dialogues. It's like, oh my gosh, how come they didn't do that when that one time I saw my friend's daughter? Because now they're gonna do it this way. And because black little girls is like, okay, black little girls is you. Remember what you did as a kid with black little girl. And so they try to create these dialogues and then be like, it's you. And you hear this trash. Who are not torture children? Who are not do the perfect type of torture? Who is here trying to break my brain into accepting these peripheral things? And try to box in, tell me this man is gonna rape me. So what if, listen, I'd rather get raped every day in my life than having to do what they do. Not even have done what they do. These people truly work for pedophiles. And they create these dialogues where they're like, oh, we busted you. It's like, no, you create these dialogues. But at the end of the day, black little girl, white little girl, this is going to be nasty. You're going to do the pedophile type of torture. And it's going to be disgusting ways of thinking, and then be like, oh, it's you when you're a kid. And then you're going to hear some trash from all the way in the apartment try to stop this reality that she doesn't want to realize that she's obviously in a program that forces people to think in these pedophile ways. And the entities that contract these slow lives to stay up this late are filled with pedophiles. And they try to create these dialogues. Listen, black little girl, white little girl, all this nastiness is what they do to me. And now they try to really box in this like thoughts. Okay, this you when you're a kid. Remember what kind of kid? It was like, what kind of... They were trying to make me think, but if a kid did... It's like, yes, children at that age can do this stupid thing. Especially if it's something that happened once. They try to create patterns by making me imagine experiencing things and stimulations like in different times. Even at the time I wasn't feeling that stimulation. But they try to create feelings or moments that aren't there. To try to create a pattern. No, you feel like that, but you feel like really, because in reality, that was the moment that a child did something stupid one time and never thought about it. Nothing pattern-like, just like boom, just stupid, impulsive moments. They're trying to create patterns. Now, of course, I know the reality. Now, whatever is going to happen to me, these people are going to live off this as validation. You see how pathetic it is? They create these dialogues that are kind of stupid and nonsensicalness and just like back and forth. And I can feel my brain. When I'm laying in my bed, the dialogues flows in back and forth in different fashion. Try to mimic me. Try to be like, I was like, oh. And then you realize, that's why you have me to have these dialogues, because you try to try to create these unboxings like, yeah, see, we caught you. Who are you? They raped you! Listen, if I get raped, if I get tortured, this is what they say. This is better than having to do what these people have to do. They work for pedophiles. You know why they're so passionate and everything? It's because they compromise. They sold their soul to pedophiles. And now they have to yell as loud as they can to try to counter that. There's no way they can cover up the reality of things. They're creating dialogues that's nonsensical. When it's black little girls, they're gonna do more. They're gonna be trying their best to make me subscribe, because the stupid thing I did to myself as a child, and they're like, oh, remember that? I was like, but the reality is, it doesn't matter. Any kids, especially girls, they're gonna do the most disturbing things. But they try to get you to accept this thing as if it's a pattern, it's a thing that you truly experience. You see a black little girl, oh, that's you. Remember when you were kids? Like, no, that's what you make me experience. So when I see a black little girl, oh, they're gonna try to make it really feel like it's you, huh? And you hear this trash, try to counter this. It's like, oh, busted. Oh, this individual saying I'm busted, works for entities filled pedophiles. They do the pedophile type of torture. Almost all target individuals. I embarrass them in 2 seconds. And they try to get me frustrated. But I can hear them try not to be frustrated. Because me, I don't have to create a false dialogues. I'm just listening to the same. It takes such a a little for me to put things in perspective. Very, 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 very little. Very like it's just it's it's so obvious that dialogues, thoughts, all that peripheral, it's just everything is just so easily said. Like it's so obvious that even with my brain so manipulated, so played with, it takes nothing to see the obviousness of what they do, the patterns. I don't have to create these dialogues. I don't have to create these falsifications of reality. I don't have to stay through it. I can just press in 2 seconds. They have to do all this to try to block that out. They'll see screaming that because they just created this bizarre thing. I'm talking about it. Go on YouTube and see it. Me speaking about it. This is the sound of people who are compromised, who is humiliated by the fact there's so much validation that they do the peripheral type of torture. They're like, oh, there is. People who do peripheral type of torture telling you these peripheral things that you're experiencing is you when you were a kid. There is. Me, I'm telling you exactly what they try to have that dialogue for. And because I've already said it, when this black little girls, I said, no, it's you. You see, there is when you're black little girls. Remember, you feel that. You're making me feel this way. You're making me experience this, and then try to tell me that, oh, there is one that you felt like that when you were a kid. Remember? But the reality is this: I'm experiencing this nastiness with all kind of little kids, black little girls, white little girls, especially little girls of all. They do these nasty things. And then try to create those dialogues that just like, okay, and you feel them try to create these things to try to feel like you said something like, oh, I shouldn't say, like, even that is stupid. And what you just said is something is just, and then they try to agitate you. It's like, no, you are a pedophile. You know, people who know that they can't even speak about a pedophile's name, who've been embarrassed and humiliated by the fact that there's so much pedophilia in these agencies, who do this pedophilia type of torture. They use children. They're like, no, they are. They even argue like children. They are. It's meant to agitate you. They are, it won't be, and then I'll die. That's kind of things I hear. You'll watch and then I'll die. I'll die after you die. I won. You are a pedo. You know what they're saying that? Because they keep saying, why is there so many pedophiles let in these agencies, in this intelligence community? Why are they letting so many pedophiles that are so openly doing these things? Well, these people are like, we caught you. These people doing this to me work for those entities filled with pedophiles. They are tied. Well, they are related in the sense that they are contracted by these entities. The technology they're using is not coming from this 14N over there. It's from these intelligence communities. They're using the same scripture tactics, repeating over and over. You're mad gay, and it's supposed to make me agitated. But the thing is, when they see me, I'm like, yo, remember when you were repeating the scripts to try to cover up the fact that you do the perpetrator for torture, and you're in the program that torture children, and the entities that contract you are there's a bunch of pedophiles there? Yes, I know that. Oh, the dialogues you create in my head to try to do this back and forth and then try to make me feel like you call me. So I'm a target individual. I'll make these videos because the day I face them and they think in these little scriptive ways of reality they put together, I will humiliate them in person. They were doing fireworks every time they were doing these weird things in my head. Do you see that? Does it not look like brainwashing? It's funny, one of the women, Jackie is a trans woman, she says something about trying to change who I am, putting thoughts of pedophilia, and she's like, I don't know what the people around me, surround me do it, and they will do the firework. I'm like, oh, that's not make my point. To all my target individual, stay strong. These people, they it's they right now they're like really fighting for. It's personal for them because it's personal to not look like they work for pedophiles. It's personal for them because they have to fight like they have to make sure that it doesn't look like what it looks like. But obviously, it's too late. I know these entities are filled with pedophiles, and I know this is a global network. A lot, they're not the only one compromised. It doesn't take much. Listen, my brain is so ravagely manipulated that even with my constant brain and my state of logic that is manipulated, a 2-second testimonial just put things in perspective so easily. Well, these people have to yell, fireworks, noise campaign, honking of all sorts. Tell my target individuals stay strong. Not that justice will be done.